Welcome back to another episode of the Hardcore Casual with your boy Bass the Kid. As always, please like and subscribe, share with a friend, a colleague, a relative, an associate, anyone in between. I really don't care. I appreciate any and all views, positive or otherwise. Couple things. So there was a video I was meant to do on Saturday, but time sort of ran against me, and then I didn't want it to clash with a few of the other boxing events that was taking place. So I decided initially that I was going to do it tomorrow, but due to some big events and I guess some big announcements that took place Saturday, I'm going to have that video come out tomorrow instead. I'm going to do this one now, so you get an extra upload today, probably a little bit later than some of you are used to, but for my US subscribers and watchers, it should be perfect peak time viewing for you. That being said, let's get into it. Okay, so I guess the first thing to address, Gervonta Davis was sentenced on Friday for his hit and run case. I think there's four charges, there's 4 counts that he was facing. Pled guilty to all of them, so his punishment was to be delivered on the 5th of May. That has now come to fruition, and he's been given a 90-day house arrest, as well as 200 hours community service and 3 years probation. And I think there's a fine in there he's got to pay as well, but I'm not sure about those parts of the details. Now, part of his sentence is that he can't go to the boxing gym or anything like that, but I do think he's going to be staying with Coach Calvin Ford. So I do believe that while they're in the house, I'm sure that within his house somewhere he's got some equipment, heavy bag, like a treadmill or whatever. So I'm pretty sure that they will be doing some light work in there pretty much every day, week in, week out, for the next 3 months. Now, for me personally, based on the story and everything that obviously occurred, I'm not gonna lie, the sentence wasn't harsh enough. Now look, I'm not ever advocating for people to, have to face jail time, especially, certain people of a certain demographic from a certain location. That goes without saying. But the fact that Gervonta's got numerous driving charges and misdemeanors and I don't even know what the other word is for a misdemeanor that's not actually a misdemeanor, but he's got several driving charges from previous driving on a suspended license, which I believe he driving without a license as well. I think this hit and run actually was while on a suspended license or not having a valid license to drive at the time. So all of these things, you say, all right, you've got that, then you hit the car of a pregnant woman, you don't stop and help her, you don't show any signs of remorse at the moment, like a I'm sorry before driving off. Obviously not even to say like, wow, I'm panicked, damn, I can't be here because this happened and I'm on a suspended license, I shouldn't even be driving, but I'm so sorry, but like I can't stay, but I'll call for the ambulance, I'll call for the paramedics or something to come help you. Like nothing. Left her there. Apparently she had some complications in the birth of the child, like she can't walk properly at the minute. She can't really walk around for long periods of time, or whatever. There's some injuries in. I didn't check the entire story, but I know the gist of her plight. So you look at that, and then even one of the judges said, I think the only time he reacted to anything in the hearing was when it was said to him that he wouldn't be allowed to go to the gym, go to the boxing gym. So when the judges and that are saying you've shown no remorse in this entire situation or anything like that, it just strikes me as weird that the sentence that he's getting is so light. And so it's almost like, the kind of sentence you give someone that's a first offender who's got a spotless record prior to that, but his record ain't spotless. So yeah, to me, it wasn't harsh enough. There definitely should have been some actual jail time, or like, you know, maybe 3 months in jail, then 3 months house arrest plus the 3-year probation. But obviously it means now that if he makes any mistakes within the next 3 years, he is going to jail for whatever period of time, whether it's for the duration of that probationary period, or however else it works. I'm not quite sure. That being said, he's got a lifeline, right? Whether he deserves it or not, I guess I'll leave that up to you guys in the comments, but he needs to definitely make sure that he doesn't waste this lifeline. The community service, obviously, go out, outreach programs, pick up litter, whatever, talk to the kids, go to local leisure centers or whatever, and, you know, just try and be a positive influence in that way. Use this as an opportunity to obviously better your life, stay in the gym, stay active in the ring. 3 months out, you can be back fighting again probably by October, November time, with a nice little camp to get a little shake off fight and just do better. That's basically it. Like, from this, you just got to do better. And I'm hoping that such a lenient sentence allows him to see that he's got the chance to do better. So yeah, I hope he does. You guys let me know what you think down below. I know it's a couple of days old now, but I'm still interested to hear what you guys have to say. And I guess staying on the topic of disappointing news, got to take it back to Saturday and the Joshua Buatsi fight against Pavel Stipian. Now look, I can get over my frustration about the fight itself and how it played out, and the fact obviously it like busted an accumulator and whatnot. If it means that, you know, moving forward, you know, the activity's there, you know, the improvements start to show and everything else. Thus far, the Virgil Hunter link up to me hasn't been a success, but there has been so many gaps of inactivity and time between fights that it's hard to actually see what the improvements would have been. You would think that, okay, by now they would have started to bed in after sort of 2.5 years, but that being said, you still have to be active in the ring to work on these things under a pressurized situation, which is one of the same things I said about why Anthony Joshua needs that summer fight, if he's gonna embed all the stuff that he's been working with his trainer Derek James. So I can kind of give some leeway to that. The disappointing thing of it is that while fighting, there was a lot of people walking out of the arena. Now, this to me shows up another potential problem that Boxer and more appropriately Ben Shalom seem to have. The two high-profile signings that they took from Matchroom have both come back in very underwhelming fights, and had very poor performances. Even though they pretty much dominated the fights, they were both very, very poor performances by the general public's perspective and by all the hype and everything. Now look, I said on Twitter, and I don't take it back, I said Buatsi probably should have stayed on his own, so a lot less people would have seen that performance, because that was the big thing. I was fighting on the app. I don't think many people are watching. I don't think people see my fights. Well, I don't think that's the fight you wanted them to see, not as your introduction. I'm gonna be totally real. I would love to have a chance to sit down and have a conversation with him about how the last couple of years have gone. There is a chance that could be happening on a different channel. I'll keep you guys posted on that. But look, outside of that though, I'm not going to even levy the blame at Josh on this one. Like, yeah, it wasn't a great performance, but the crowd walking out, there's two issues that I can see. Number one, that main event started too late, in my opinion. There's no reason you should be getting in the ring at 10:30 and you're not like one of the A-list stars, and it's not like you was on a great card overall. There were some decent fights on the card, but it's only the fact it's the local people that are there that made it what it was. It's like Tyler Denny, Kirsty Bavington, I think Casey Benjamin's also from that area. You've got Shakan Pitter. So it literally is, these are the guys, and obviously Ben Whittaker from Wolverhampton just down the road. These are the people that basically sold the show. But you've got your headliner as a guy from London who doesn't have the hugest of fan bases thus far, but who hasn't been in the ring for a year. So these people aren't even really acquainted with him. They've got no affiliation to him. They got no affinity to him. They don't particularly care about his journey, and he hasn't been promoting himself over the last 6 weeks for them to, you know, be up. Like, yeah, everyone says, oh, they didn't realize that the fight was happening until this week. But that being said, it's like, it's not even a local person main eventing to give them a reason to stay. It's a Londoner. You know that there's, you know, London and Midland rivalries, or South and North rivalries and stuff like that. So unless that person's gonna be delivering the goods, they're not sticking around for that. And you put the fight on late against an opponent that no one knows, an opponent that doesn't speak English. So unless you've got a 2, 3, 4 round KO, like, they're not gonna stick around. That's just how it works. And they done the exact same thing with Lawrence Okolie. Now, granted, I understand that there was an issue with the main event of that fight wasn't supposed to be Okolie to start with. He was supposed to be on the undercard. But even then, you put Lawrence Okolie on in Manchester when he's an East Londoner. Surely if you're going to debut him, you debut him in his local town, or very close to his local town, like a Watford or even Southampton or somewhere like that. It would have made a lot more sense. To the point now where even Lawrence Okolie, in his second fight on the platform with his new promoter, he's not even fighting in his hometown again. He's fighting in Bournemouth. Like, it's the geographical irregularities that are not making sense to me right now. Like, you've got 2 Londoners and you debut them in markets that they're not from. Markets where their core fan base supposedly are going to have to travel, and you can't guarantee that they're going to travel because you don't know what kind of commodity you've got yet. The whole plan is just not making any sense. It almost feels like it was just about getting these guys on board, like hell or high water, just to sort of spite the other side, not realizing that once you've got them, well, what are you going to do with them? That's really what it's looking like at the moment. And something's got to change. I'm not going to lie. I hate to say this because I don't even really like the guy that much, but things look like they've been going to shit since Adam Smith left. Like, since he's not there, every move doesn't seem to make sense anymore. There used to be like a plan and a strategy, and obviously he was around Eddie Hearn for so long, he kind of understood certain things. Since he's gone, it's almost like the ship is trying to steer itself, but the coordinates are off, and the onboard computer is missing an update. It's an update patch that needs logging in. That's really what it's looking like. I hope it gets righted soon. Obviously, putting on a lot of the local talent you've got, yeah, that makes sense. But ultimately, it's a bit like Eddie Hearn with Johnny Fisher. You put Johnny Fisher on a card, he brings 1,500 people with him. As soon as he fights, they bounce. So that's why you have to kind of put him closer to the end of the card to make sure that there's a crowd for the fights afterwards. I've seen it. I've been there numerous occasions. As soon as he fights, his whole contingent leave. So yeah, like I said, the fight itself was disappointing. The performance was disappointing. The whole crowd leaving was disappointing, but it wasn't unexpected because the fight came on way too late. There was too many fights on the card, especially fights where you couldn't even guarantee knockouts. So every fight basically went the distance. That was a big killer. And then the fact that you've got a late card and you've got a person that's not from there, and that's the person that is headlining, and they're not even a big star. It's not like they're Anthony Joshua or even a Richard Riakporhe now. He could probably keep a crowd in check right now because they know what they're getting with Richard. Ben Whittaker, you might be able to at some point like headline him anywhere across the country because people will stay to watch the theatrics and see what happens next. I would guess that even someone like Chris Billum-Smith would probably get given that luxury of being able to headline anywhere around the country, and the people will sort of stick around because he's personable. You understand him, like he comes across well, and ultimately he's going to give you a fun fight. And even if it goes 10 rounds or 12 rounds, it's going to be action-packed. That fight Saturday just wasn't. And yeah, unfortunately, that's what happens. But look, leave your comments down below. Let me know your opinion. Do you think that this is more an indictment on Joshua Buatsi and maybe his long spouts of inactivity and just not being the guy that we thought he was? Or is this just about not being marketed correctly and almost just being signed to spite the other side, but then not having a plan for these people afterwards? Yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. I'm gonna leave this one. I'm gonna get to work on the other video shortly. That one will be out tomorrow, probably about 12 o'clock. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Again, like and subscribe. For right now, it's Hardcore Casual out.